I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
All right, well, welcome back after that little intro music, as you heard. Weird fucking week, I would say. Yeah, usually...
Weird 2 weeks.
Yeah, weird 2 weeks.
Weird fucking year. What are we talking about? This year's been fucking
It's fucking nuts. I mean, all right, so for the people listening, if this is your first episode you're listening to, then welcome to the At Random podcast. My name is Andy, and I am joined by the lovely Alex and Alejandra. Alex is the lovely voice you will hear right now.
Just ranting about gibberish. That's me.
There you go. And Alejandra is the lovely voice you'll be hearing right now.
Hello, hello.
So, there you go. Lovely boobies, big penis. And that's the two co-hosts I'm working with. But yeah, it's been a weird fucking year so far, but I got like to a... I hope this is the high point. I hope it doesn't get any worse than this.
2020 is just getting fucking started. I just have a feeling this year is going to be a fucking roller coaster.
It's fucking weird. Okay, so usually what we do is we research a new subject every week. This week, I had a plan to do what we're going to do. We were going to do a crossover episode with a different podcast that's very widely known, has a big following, which is called Robots for Eyes podcast. Now, I know Rob and Tom, the hosts of that show. I know them personally, and we were going to talk to them about a subject which they might find interesting, and I would get to present, and we would have lots of laughs, and it would be a jolly good fucking show. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to just ignore what's going on in the world right now, because it's fucked up. So I just...
It's a lot.
Yeah, I told you to, or we all three, we decided to do an episode on this, or actually more like Ali and me, because Alex has a very different perspective on all this, which
I do.
I am open to, because I truly believe in freedom of speech, and you should be able to say whatever you fucking want to, or think whatever you want to. But yeah, I wanted to talk about everything a little bit. With the corona shit, we've done that. I've been a carrier. You guys probably have been a carrier as well without you knowing it.
I'm pretty sure I had it. You know when I was super sick back in February?
Yeah, it's a very weird cold,
sure
right?
I had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
So
it was 5 weeks of fucking hell.
Yeah.
Straight fucking hell.
Exactly. So we know that the coronavirus is out there, and for people that have weaker immunity systems and have weaker airways, it's dangerous, blah, 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 blah. You know what? People die. That's life. We went over this on the show. If it's government made, then hey, you know what? You're not going to stop the government, period. If it's nature made, then maybe that's a sign of nature saying hey, you know what? You guys, 7 billion is a little bit a lot for this planet, so maybe calm it down a little bit. Either way, you're not going to stop it. You have to go through it, and that's just period. There's no point in fucking bickering and arguing and fucking buying all the toilet paper. Just live your life the best you can for the moment being. Then George Floyd happened. A horrible fucking incident, in my point of view. I'm going to start out this whole conversation by saying, look, I've said some questionable things in the past, right? I'm not going to change who I am because of this. I still think there's a very definite, defiant thing between what you allow in comedy and what you genuinely mean. You can say I can say horrible shit about my wife and still love her to death. That's just the way that we perceive, like we are in a relationship. We say very mean shit to each other and we laugh about it. It's just, it's a way of talking. That being said, there's a certain point in freedom of speech, I believe, that you should just be mature and keep your fucking mouth shut. There's things that's allowed, and there's things that's not allowed. For example, on this show, I've been muted a couple of times. That's not because other people... You want to say something, Alex?
Not just a few. Quite a lot.
Yeah. But, like, let's be honest here, too, for a second. The first one to say, you better mute that, is me.
Yeah.
Is the guy that said it.
Yeah, and it's said for like a comedic thing. It's not said to actually
it's a comedy
insult.
thing. I don't feel comfortable like getting it out there because that's not fully my opinion. But I do want the comedy aspect of it to hit people in the right way, which in some case, like to some people, might be misconstrued as being, you know, racist or whatever. But in my opinion, I'm still not, because, you know, I hang out with black people. I don't have any problem with black people. I have problems with bad people, and I don't have problems with good people. That's where it stops for me. I mean, you can be any fucking color. You can be a whole fucking rainbow as far as I'm concerned. You know, if you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a dick, you're a dick, and I'm going to call you out on it.
Yep.
You know, that being said, George Floyd, if you're living under a rock somewhere, is a poor black man who has been murdered and should be treated as a murder in the first degree, because he did tell the police officer that was strangling him or sitting on his neck with his knee about 3, 4, 5 times, that he was running out of breath, that he couldn't breathe, something like that.
Well, he was held down for 8 minutes.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
9 minutes, but 8 minutes, 40 something before he stopped talking.
Yeah.
40 seconds before he stopped. And during that time, he mentioned on multiple occasions that he couldn't breathe, that he was hurting, his stomach was hurting, everything was hurting.
Yeah.
And for a human being, doesn't matter if you're a fucking cop, how can you do that to another fucking person?
It's
like,
not.
you have to be so fucking conscious.
Yeah.
When a person's telling you, I can't fucking breathe, and to keep your fucking knee on their neck.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting.
Do you believe at that point, because that's what I believe, do you believe at that point it was nothing but a power trip?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is. And that's what a lot of the problems with the cops in the state is. It's just like they just ride. They just love feeling high on their power. And that's the biggest problem. And black people are extremely vulnerable in that position because they're an easier target.
Yeah, true. I have to say, I've heard a lot of talk about white privilege and shit like that. And it's been a joke on the show before. Like, I'm not going to lie. But I want everybody to think about the American police has a tagline, which is to serve and protect. Now, at no point, I think somebody carrying that tagline, to serve and protect, should be intimidating anybody. It shouldn't be intimidating, because I've seen videos of cop pulling guns on black people while they're in a car. They don't even know if it's a dangerous situation or not. They just pull their gun out already before they get to the car, before they see the people, which is fucking ludicrous.
Yeah, but that's also a US problem in the sense
It
because
is.
their laws are fucked, because you don't know who is carrying something at the end of the day.
Really,
but that they're racially profiling black people to the point that they can't walk. Like, you have to teach your kids since they're fucking, when they get to a certain age, how to fucking behave around cops. Like, that's just ludicrous. Like, we should not live in a world where that's acceptable.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's up to the US to change their fucking laws and to... Yeah, there's so much to get into in this subject. That's the problem.
Where I just have a stat to prove, like, my biggest issue that I have with this whole thing. Obviously, first I'll start with saying it's horrible what happened and it shouldn't have happened. But one thing I don't like is that, like, for example, here in Sweden the other day, people are rioting and fighting with police. Yeah. Why? This is not the United States of America. Yeah. And here are some statistics.
Well,
in 2007...
Well, say your statistics. What are your statistics? Say your statistics.
I'm going to say this is the problem with the police specifically is a US cultural problem.
Yes.
In 2017, Australia had 4 killings by police. 4. The US, 1,767. The US has 13 times Australia's population, yet they had 442 times as many deaths by police. It's a problem in their culture. It has nothing to do with Sweden, Australia, the UK, and all these other countries that are protesting and fighting their own police. We don't have that problem here in Sweden.
Can
and
I
it actually pisses me off that people were fighting the Swedish police force. It doesn't happen here.
Can I ask you a question around that real quick?
Yeah.
Are you willing to put your hand into the fire for the police officer that they wouldn't be racists in your country?
I'm not saying they're not racist, but I'm saying
no. That's where it stops. That's where it stops.
But I do want to.
Why are they fighting the police? They're taking a US problem and bringing it here.
The problem,
it's not the same thing.
It's not a problem that floats from America over to Europe. I know for a fact that Belgian police officers are 75 to 80% racist. I'll tell you why. Because they get in a lot of trouble with the youth criminals. But youth criminals aren't that fucking dangerous. What are we gonna do? Fucking sell drugs? Sell a little bit of weed? And just make some cash off of that? You know, sell some harder weed, sell some harder drugs and shit like that? Do a little crime in here and there? You know what? As long as nobody really gets hurt, I'd say just hunt them down, put them in jail, and that's it. Yeah. But what happened over time is that they started to rate, and I know this for a fact from police officers, that they started racially profiling, and that's where it just needs to stop.
Of course, it
needs to stop before that. Before the racial profiling, you shouldn't walk up to somebody, and no matter what country you're in, Sweden, fucking Belgium, America, whatever, you shouldn't walk up to somebody and say like, "Hey, you got a different color. You're that sort of person." No, fucking talk to them.
I'll make a counter argument to that. It makes sense.
Okay,
because there's a bigger issue there that generally other cultures are less privileged and therefore more likely to actually commit crime. So it does make sense for the police force to racially profile. That's a different problem.
It does
them
make
not
sense,
having enough money. But to me, it makes sense why they would, because you're probably statistically more likely to be committing a crime.
Okay.
Because you're probably in an impoverished area where things like selling dope and stealing is more common.
I think. Well, all right, Ali.
No, I just want to talk about the demonstrations that did happen in Stockholm, because I actually went to them. I was there, and I saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was it, on...
Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. What was the fucking date, though?
The 4th? 3rd of June, 2020.
3rd of June.
Yeah.
There was a demonstration in solidarity for the demonstrators.
The Black Lives Matter community.
The Black Lives Matter movement. And for the Swedish community to show our support to what the fuck's going on. Yeah. And it was a beautiful demonstration. A lot of people came out. But what happens in Sweden, and what I think happens in a lot of places, especially in Sweden, is that all cops in Sweden, we don't respect them. Mm-hmm. There's never been a respect. And because this movement... Yeah. No, but I don't know. I think that you still should feel safe around your police and be able to talk to them, but still have a sort of respect, because they still are the ones that are supposed to protect you and uphold the law.
Yeah, but do they ever?
Like that.
Have you ever been in a situation where you almost got hit and they tell you like, "Oh, well, you didn't get hit, so nothing happened"? That's an entirely different story.
But that's yeah. But what I want to come down to, what happened, because I was out like in the middle of it, doing a thing. We were chanting and we were calling and we were kneeling and we were doing our stuff. And then you have a group of people that went into the subway and started chaosing there. And I saw before the police went in, because what happened, there were some police force, they went in, they pepper sprayed some people, they hit some people, some videos got out, people got really upset.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, suit your fucking self, because our police doesn't regularly do that.
Yeah.
No, it's not a problem here.
It's not a problem here. Yes, is there racism? Absolutely. We can't fucking deny that. But it isn't only from... It's just a culture problem in general in Sweden.
Every country is racist.
Yeah, but let me fucking finish, Alex. So what happens is, since this movement is so bloody big, kids that go out, because it was mostly kids that were out that day,
Yeah.
They want a fucking reaction because why? They just want the attention.
Yeah.
And that's what it fucking comes down to. Because if they would have done it peacefully, like most of the fucking people did, black fucking Latinos, Arabs, Swedes, every fucking one was out there.
Yeah.
Doing it peacefully. But when you go in and fucking disturb the normal fucking people commuting from and to work, then you're a fucking hazard. Like, you should be fucking punished for it, in my opinion.
True. All right, I was going to hold out for this till the sort of end of the episode because I don't know how long this episode is going to run. Maybe it'll be an episode of half an hour. Maybe it'll be an hour. Maybe it'll be an hour and a half. Who knows? I just want to say our piece on this. But it's a very fickle situation. It should be very fucking easy. We shouldn't be... 60% of me didn't want to do this episode. For the simple fucking fact that we shouldn't be doing this episode. This shouldn't be a fucking thing. For nobody. But the reason why I did decide I wanted to do this episode especially is because I wanted to make it clear to people that there's a very big definition between the people that are coming up for the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement and the people that are rioting. Because on the one hand, I understand. I'm going to explain in a second. On the one hand, I understand, and on the one hand, I don't. You got a Black Lives Matter movement that's protesting peacefully, which is exactly what the government wants, because a peaceful protest, it fucking goes away. It's there for a couple of days. They ignore it. They set up some police to, calm them down or whatever. Little fucking bickery fights amongst them and the police and blah, 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 blah. People got hurt. People's fucking livelihoods were destroyed. Fires broke out. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a death rate. I don't know as far as death rates go, but I wouldn't be surprised if people were actually killed.
Those numbers won't be released if they're actually there.
Yeah, no. Exactly. But that's the fucking thing. If all that didn't happen, would the Black Lives Movement have an impact? My thought on that is it wouldn't. It wouldn't. It needed to happen. It was something that genuinely needed to fucking happen. People needed to have an outlet for their rage. And I'm sorry for everybody. If you're listening to this and your business was destroyed in the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm very sorry for you. Like, I feel very compassionate to your livelihood. You probably have a wife, kids to take care of and shit like that. I saw a man protect his building, his store. His wife came out to help protect it, just standing there. People ran up to him and his wife. This guy's wife was beaten to a bloody fucking pulp while he was swaying off attackers left and right to get to his wife. I can't even fucking imagine what it must be like to be in that fucking situation, but it needed to happen, right? The thing that I'm saying, and what I want to make fucking clear to the Black Lives Matter movement, get fucking organized. What happened up until this point was nothing more than people getting out there and fucking ventilating their aggression on anything and everything that they saw. Fucking wrong. Fucking Joe with his store and his wife isn't the one that fucking killed George Floyd. What you need to address, the buildings you needed to attack were city halls, were places of government. The guys that are telling you, oh, we're protecting you, but they're actually not. Those are the places that needed to burn down to send a fucking message. And it would have gotten harder because the military would have gotten involved sooner and you probably would have had battle it out just as much as you did now, except not as much innocent people would have gotten hurt.
Well, now I'm going to intervene. The Black Lives Matter movement, this is not the first time they got some traction. But what happened is, like, this time, like, people just had enough.
Yeah.
And obviously they went out of the street. And what happens with the violence, you have people that go out and demonstrate, as they should, and talk and have their voices heard.
Should they demonstrate during a pandemic in a crippled country with a terrible healthcare system?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Not a fucking question about it.
Their people are getting fucking killed. Like, it gets to a fucking certain point. The shit you can fucking
Corona has
take.
killed more people than the police. And will continue to in the United States.
Do you believe that as we said before, that the pandemic is as real as they want us to believe it's real?
I think in the United States, yes, because they have a horrible healthcare system, really bad testing, and their people are so dumb they can't even wear masks properly.
So what's the solution then here? Do they wait until the pandemic is over and then turn to the streets?
My opinion on this is that their things will do nothing because the election's coming up. This, just like the whole stuff with Greta Thunberg earlier, late last year with the environment, something new will come along and nothing will happen.
I genuinely think this will have an impact because it was bad enough. The whole world couldn't turn a blind eye this time. They could have past time. They could when Martin Luther King was dead. They held a silent fucking march for the guy. A silent march for Martin Luther King's death. Are you fucking shitting me? They should have destroyed buildings back then. They didn't.
True, but times have changed since then as well.
Yeah, but they should have.
But to get back to the violent and the rioting and the burning of buildings and stuff like that. So obviously you have the people that are doing the right thing. They're getting out. They're getting their voices heard.
Yeah.
Trying to do the best. But you also have so many people that take advantage of this fucking situation and do shit like this. You have angsty fucking teens that are like, oh, but people are fucking angry. Now I have an excuse to go and fucking smash that dude's windows in just because I fucking can. Yeah. And there's so many people out on the street that no one will fucking catch me. That's what it comes down to. When you cause chaos, no one will fucking see you as an individual. No. And you get away with shit. The same shit happened in Chile. And when the fucking demonstration started back in good that I know my fucking dates. In October. Yeah. The same fucking shit happened there. People went out on the streets peacefully demonstrating. Yeah. And shit broke out because you always have people that would take advantage of a situation.
Agitators,
as they fucking can.
Yeah.
They start looting. They start burning shit. And why? Because they fucking can. And what happens as well is that the government wants shit like to happen because then they don't have to cover the good shit about this demonstration and what it actually stands for. You just cover the bad shit.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen because of those looting? That's riots. Trump is going to romp home in the next election because all the right wing are going to come out and vote because he came out. You start looting, we start shooting. We're going to use the military. He showed his force. He's going to make them look bad in the media, like these leftist people, and they're going to come out, they're going to vote, and Trump is going to absolutely romp home. And that's why I think this thing will just blow over, because then the election's coming up and no one will care anymore. I truly
believe that the only thing that will happen, the people that will vote for Trump on the next election is probably the people that believe that the NRA should still be a thing.
Yeah, it's like half of their country, though. And they have a really bad voter turnout, so they just have to turn up.
I really think that's starting to change. I hope it's starting to change. I mean, the National Rifle Association is like one of the biggest groups ever that are advocates for carrying fucking guns. Here's the thing. The reason why a cop in Belgium, or in Sweden for that matter, or any other place, and I know the standpoints of the NRA people. I know their standpoints. I know them too well. Because one of my best friends is American, she's a Trump voter, and she thoroughly believes in the right to carry an open arm and shit like that. But the reason why cops don't feel the need to pull a gun on a person, whether you be a person of color or a white person in Belgium, Sweden, all the European countries, is simply because none of us have guns.
Yeah.
You don't need a gun to beat somebody up with a gun. So they're still on their guard, and they're still assholes, but at least they're tolerable, you know. But the thing is, I do believe that police officers need to be taken down a peg, because I think there's such I'm a fucking police officer. Nobody. You're here to serve the people. You don't have a job where you have power. You should be fucking... I mean, you do have the power. That doesn't mean you should be taking advantage of it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be threatening people. It shouldn't entice you to be more powerful than the other person. As a matter of fact, it should entice you to talk it out with people and make sure that disturbances get solved in a peaceful manner. Pulling a gun isn't gonna fucking solve anything. Do you know how many fucking taser videos are out there from police officers unnecessarily tasering people? Like, seriously, I've seen so many videos, I've laughed at them. Like, I'm not...
No, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen so many videos where people just, they stand there, they talk to a police officer, from America, of course. They get a little high in the voice. They fucking get a little louder. And from the moment they get loud, police officer seems to lose control as far as he thinks and just fucking tases them. Yep. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, there's no fucking need to do that. It's gotten to the point where actually people in the US are starting to get immune to fucking tasing. Have you seen the videos of people just not caring about getting tased?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 99% of all Belgian people would go down, like, because we're not used to it. We've never been tased. Like, there's no need for that.
That kind of ties me back to anything where I say, with the police in particular in the US, it's cultural. Like in Australia, I think it was last week.
Yeah.
Before a shot even got fired, they tased a guy wielding a knife trying to kill them 4 times before an officer ever even thought to pull out a gun. That's because in Australia, if a cop pulls out a gun and, dear God, shoots it, there's a huge investigation. Did you have to shoot it? Why did you shoot it? How many bullets did you shoot?
As it should be. Yeah, as it should be.
And it's like,
I believe it was England. Believe it was England where this, I think it was of Turkish nature. A guy went on a rampage with a knife.
Oh, the machete on the bridge or whatever the other year?
It was something like that. And he at least attacked 3 officers before they finally decided to put him down. Not even with a normal gun. Again, tase him down so he dropped the knife, then jumped on him. Of course, like, he'll get hurt, but he didn't fucking die. You know?
Exactly.
They didn't sit on his fucking neck for 9 minutes straight. It was just like, oh, subdue, jump on him, put the handcuffs on, throw him in a car, and that was that. Yeah. It was 3 minutes work, tops.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems as well. Why the fuck are you there for 9 minutes? The problem.
Who? What is he? The Hulk?
The thing with fucking handcuffs is once they're on and you have your backup with you, you take the individual, you put him in your car so he can't hurt you or anybody else. Fucking problem solved. You don't have to fucking stay there for 9 minutes on the fucking floor. Who does that?
But even let's put aside the fact that they had their fucking knee on his neck and the 2 guys behind them also lying in that positions, handcuffs with your hands on the back, just lying in that position for more than a certain amount of time. I don't know, more than 5 minutes. You can actually die from that. The pressure on your on your chest. On your chest is so bad. Like, they're actually trained for this. Like, I saw a video where a guy talked, like a guy that actually, he's like, I've trained cops, I've trained military, I've trained this. And they know that hold, you can't hold it for too long. That is to immobilize them completely. Well, and if they're completely resisting arrest, which this guy wasn't
do
at
you
all.
even need training to tell you that 9 minutes is probably excessive to, like, be stepping on someone's neck?
Exactly.
No, but I'm talking about that position without the force on top of him. With your own body weight, it can really, you can stop breathing. Lying in that position with your handcuffs.
Do you guys think it has something to do as well with the sort of movie culture America has? Like, cops have to be a certain amount of cool. Like, you'll never see, like, fights in America versus fights in Europe. European fights are fucking way more aggressive.
Yeah.
Because here, when you get into an actual fight, what happens is you fucking get headbutted fucking aggressively. So fights in America versus fights in Europe, like fights in Europe, basically what happens is you get knocked the fuck out. Like, they're very fucking short and aggressive. Fights in America need to be like this showcase of strength and like speed and all that shit.
That's just a macho culture in general in the US.
I don't like. Do you think it has something to do with the movie culture coming from America?
I just think they're retarded in general.
I just think the general lack of education there is a big problem.
But the thing is also that I do want to bring up as well is the police brutality isn't alone to cops in America. Because obviously I've experienced it with the whole thing in Chile as well.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people got killed, they got shot, they lost their eyes, beaten brutally.
Actually, on that, can we bring like something like more to do with racism in general, which is also the whole movement, right? Is anti-racism. But one thing like that really annoys me with this whole thing is it's basically descended into I'm a better person than you because, I did this, or I put my Instagram profile as a black fucking square. What did you do? It's like, you haven't done anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember what it is, but they basically, you're a minimalist maximist. You're doing the maximum amount of minimum effort to look like you're... Same with all the corporations as well.
Yeah, it's like pray for France, or what was it again? Pray for Paris, or what was it again?
When the Paris shootings the other year. Yeah, it's like you doing nothing. You're not actually... But then you're trying to gloat to people and make them... You're like I have a thing actually with my school. We have a school email. And like these people were fucking spamming, going back and forwards, arguing over who was the better white person or who was the better individual. And then thankfully some Latin American guy stepped in and was like, can you all just shut the fuck up? Like, you're all fucking retards. Yeah. Like, why are you arguing over who helped do what or who did what?
That's white shame. Yeah. That's what it is. Because they feel like they need to do something, but they don't want to really do anything.
Yeah, but it's also this funny thing is like, to go back to the thing with Chile that annoys me as well, is like, why do they care now? Why didn't they care when Chile was having their problems with the government and racism? Why didn't they care?
I guess George Floyd was
because but that comes down to that it happened in the fucking US and people got enough and it got traction on social media. That's what the thing in Chile. Yes, it was reported, but it wasn't that fucking well reported that people fucking actually know what the fuck happened. Yeah. The same thing in Hong Kong. How fucking long have they been on the fucking street? They're still on the fucking street to this fucking day. No one's fucking talking about that.
Or we have Iran, where the government literally kills the Sunni Muslims because they're a different Muslim, but we don't care because we're not Islamic countries. So
because it's not an American thing. Like, yes, it's important to talk what happened to Floyd because it's important. Because he's not the only one. And that's also a very important thing. Like, it's so many behind them.
Yeah, but I hate these people jumping on now, like, the holier than thou, I'm the best. I've been fighting for people's rights the whole time. It's like, you haven't done shit,
This is the same thing Black Lives Matter rioters. I mean, it's not about protesters and rioters. It's about eliminating the bad people versus the good people.
Yeah.
The rioters are the bad people. Though I think in this scenario, again, I truly believe that they did a good thing while doing bad. Because they shared so much. Like, TikTok fucking exploded. It exploded with clips. I've seen so many fucking horrible things that I've never wanted to see in my life on TikTok. YouTube, Facebook. It's incredible. The only reason I believe that news is traveling the world so well is because it's going down so harshly.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But again,
it comes down to it because it was so viral.
I really believe they should aim their bullets better. I mean, these writers, they're loose cannons in my eyes. And I think that when you use a cannon, the first thing you do is you fucking aim.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go around shooting just anybody. Just, there's government buildings out there. If you should take on the people that are fucking pushing you back so many fucking years.
In the sense, they shouldn't fight. In the sense, literally fight. What the Americans need to do is fucking...
Well, not just Americans, everyone.
Yeah, no, but let's talk... Like, now I will just want to... When it comes to the American problem right now, they just need to wake the fuck up. Like, if they want fucking change, they need to start from the fucking beginning.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, again, back to Chile, that's what they're fighting for. They're fighting to be able to start from the beginning. They're fighting because we're still living under a constitution that was fucking put in place during a dictatorship. Yeah. That basically comes back to America again because the fucking Americans put Pinochet in power in Chile. They gave him all the weapons. Here, do what the fuck you want. And we still 30 fucking years later living with the same constitution where fucking poor don't get jack shit and the fucking rich live out of the fucking richness of the country while their fucking people is dying. They're killing their indigenous people. They don't give a fuck.
But that is exactly,
and that's the problem.
That is exactly what I'm saying, is you don't root out the problem by attacking innocent bystanders and by destroying small business owners and shit like that. No,
if anything, you're making it worse.
You need to go to the people that decide on your future. If you truly believe that Trump is such an awful guy, then, there's people protesting outside of the White House. Go there. Go protest at the fucking White House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let your voice be heard there. If you're not able to go to Washington, D.C., then fucking go to your mayor's office. Protest there. Fucking sit down in silence.
Get people that you want in power. Get them into your fucking state. People that voice your fucking opinion, what you want done in your state.
Although, I am gonna say, I don't believe in the voting system.
No, it's rigged as fuck.
I'll tell you why. Like, everybody tells you, oh, go vote, go vote, go vote. Belgium's government has been without a government for more than a year now. I think we hold the world record at this point for not having any government.
You're literally like a fucking speck in the map. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but still, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be governed. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Do not forget, Belgium arms half of the fucking United States with their M16s. That's fucking Belgium. But no, it's the P9 is Belgium made. Anyway,
and Sweden arms the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, they don't participate in war. Okay?
No. We're all peaceful.
Yeah, but the thing is, all right. So what happened in Belgium? The Belgian people sort of had enough of the way they let in people from another country, because people from another country, and this isn't racism. This is just purely, I guess, population smarts, you could call it. So what was happening is they let people in, and from the moment they were in the country, they were left to their own device.
Mm-hmm.
So they get a government paycheck that we pay for with taxes.
Yeah.
And then they just stay on there. They don't have to find work and shit. Yeah. I think it's most of Europe that has this problem.
Yeah.
So what they do, the United Nations gives Belgium, or the Europe gives Belgium millions upon millions to give these peoples, a safe place to live, which Belgians are all for. They don't mind that. When they come in, they work, they have families and all that shit. They don't mind that. Like, fucking do whatever. What they do mind is that they let people in that get thrown into jail over and over and over and over again, and they become a sort of statistic. Not because they can't work, because there's work enough, just because they don't want to work, and they know that they can survive on the paycheck given to them by the government. So that's where a lot of people in Belgium had a problem. So there's this extreme right party. It's like not a German fucking party. Let's just call it that.
Yeah.
But it's an extreme right party, which basically means they didn't want more foreigners in. They just said, like, okay, we have enough. Let's give these people a job first, and then we can open the gates again and people can come back in. That was basically what the population of Belgium was saying. So what happened is the entirety of population voted right. Basically voted racist in a lot of people's opinion, which it wasn't, but which is
also a stupid point of view.
Yeah, it was like 65 to 70% voted right to close down the borders for these people, get the people that were in the country help, get them work, get them fucking proper housing, shit like that, school, education, so they can learn the language, and indoctrinate them into the country, basically.
Yeah. Just a question. You can edit this out afterwards. Did you vote for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's only common sense.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Why would you overpopulate your country with people that can't find work?
Dude, I'll put it this way to you.
No.
I am an immigrant here in Sweden. I would still vote that way here because they did the same thing and they fucked the economy here because they don't even have enough housing to put the people in.
It's not them that's fucking. It's not them that fucking the economy. It's the government that's fucking the economy. No, but that's what I mean. The government
fucked it because they took too many people.
Yeah.
They don't even have enough houses for these poor fuckers people.
Yeah,
the medical system here has gone to shit. Everything's because there's too many people.
And plus, we know enough from these people now to know that they are told in their country, like, oh, Belgium and Germany and all those countries, they're the land of fucking milk and honey. You go there, you get a paycheck for free. You stay here, you get nothing. Yeah. So of course they're gonna come. Of course they're excited to come. But that's not the problem. The problem is that these people came in, they couldn't find housing, they couldn't find work, so they turned to criminality, which is fucking understandable. Because if you don't have anything and you come from a shithole country where you do criminality to survive, and you come in that country and you can't fucking survive on your own, what are you gonna do? The first thing you're gonna do is the only thing you know is fucking criminality.
Well, and it's like
so it's understandable.
You got to eat, right? You have to put food on your table somehow.
Of course. And a lot of these guys have families. So what happened was a lot of the people in Belgium had enough of this and had enough of this reasoning of the government.
Yeah.
And so they voted right. And what happened after that was the governments in charge, the leftist governments and shit like that, the fucking, peace and love for all that, blah, 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 let's all eat a fucking plant. Those guys, they just said, oh, we don't want to work with them. And that was it. Our vote didn't count anymore. The right wasn't in power. The borders never got closed. It never happened. Just because a couple of guys said, nope, we're not working with them. So our vote is basically work chat shit. So whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
I agree with that, but instead of voting, like for example, the district attorney in the US, I don't know if they're voted in, they probably are, but like you can, on a position like that, surely you can apply pressure to get people that are actually going to prosecute police correctly.
You know what?
Like this guy, dude, he got charged with second-degree murder. That's first-degree murder. You were on his fucking neck for 9 minutes. Like you don't have to be a genius to work out you're killing the guy.
Yeah. You know what they need to do? They need to reinstate Obama for a couple of more years.
Too bad they can't.
The problem is, it's not Obama.
I'm telling you, in Obama's fucking terms.
Obama, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say Obama can't do shit because Obama doesn't run the fucking show. The same thing with Trump. At the end of the day, he doesn't run it. It's everyone behind the fucking scenes. Yeah,
but have you heard his reactions? He was signing a bill and somebody was screaming, what are you going to do about the shit that's happening in your country right now? Oh, I'm too busy signing a bill right now. Which is basically what he said, by the way. We're not here for that right now. I'm signing a bill. It's a very important bill.
But that's what I mean. Like to get Obama in, Obama wouldn't do anything. Obama did a lot of shit too, and I'm not talking shit like Obama. I liked Obama, and he was a good president. But at the end of the day, we can't forget Obama still did a lot of fucking shit.
All politicians are fucking retards. Like, don't trust any of them as far as you can throw them.
I don't know, man. I really liked Obama.
He started the fucking war in fucking Afghanistan, and that's when fucking the floodgates to fucking Europe happened.
Yeah, but he did end the war as well. I mean,
so we're done there.
Yeah,
that's what the US do at the end of the day.
With Obama, he was on his way to get free healthcare, free fucking healthcare.
What kind of a country?
People.
And they think it's bad. Like if you're listening to this podcast and you think like universal healthcare is bad, you're an idiot. From someone that's lived in a country that has both of them have it. You know what? As an Australian citizen, I could come to Sweden and I paid the same price I pay in Australia for healthcare. It was basically nothing. Yeah. If I did the same thing in the US, it would cost me several hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
Dude, I've heard of surgeries, that are so costly in America that people could do for half the price, buying a plane ticket to Belgium, getting surgery here, and returning to their own country after the fucking rehabilitation into fucking like walking or whatever. You know, they could do all that for less than half of what it would cost to do the surgery in America.
Like that,
it's fucking nuts. It's incredible.
Pushing to get, like, say, universal healthcare, that's a great way to help the impoverished people get access, especially, you know, black people and people of color, get access to proper medical care. But for some reason, they're against it. It makes no sense to anyone with half a brain.
Because it's fucking privatized. It's privatized and bought and sold by guys like the Viagra fucking company that holds half of the fucking American population in the palm of their hands. Because of the simple fucking reason that it's all to do about the big fucking money. What did fucking... Who was that dipshit again that brought the...
the HIV thing?
Yeah, the HIV drug, and then sold it for $800 and something per pill.
Yeah, it was like
Krakozy
800% markup or 2,000% markup or something. Yeah.
What was his name again?
What was his name?
Scarelli?
Something like that.
Yeah. It's dipshits like that can do whatever the fuck they want in the name of capitalism. But they're playing with people's lives.
Yeah, here we go. It was the drug called Daraprim went from $3.15 a tablet to $750 overnight.
Yeah,
by Turing Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah,
a startup run by a former hedge fund manager. Can't find his name here, but he got charged or something. I think he ended up for like...
Yeah. He did get
punished.
But there's so many shit that are fucked up with the US when it comes to that.
But my point is something like that. If you actually want to do something, instead of just talking about it and putting your fucking profile picture as a black fucking square and literally doing nothing but trying to feel superior about yourself, go and push in your country to get healthcare to help these people. Actually go and volunteer or help out an oppressed like minority and actually find out what do they actually need for help. Don't just put a black square in Instagram does fuck all. Talking about it does nothing. You actually have to do something. And don't sit there to try and make yourself feel better and make other people feel worse because, but I did this and you didn't do it, so therefore I'm better. Because that shit is happening. And that shit drives me nuts.
Hitting on that for just a small second, the fact that we're talking about it doesn't mean that, like, you know, this is our... Ali was out there protesting and shit like that. Yeah. Here in Belgium, we did a protest in Brussels, a silent protest, to show our support to the people that are involved in shit like that. So, you know, be active. Just don't, like, talk about it. The fact that we're talking about it right now doesn't mean that, that's all we're gonna do. You know, we're doing what we can with what we have. We don't live in America. We can't reach that far.
No. The thing that people around are not in the place of where it's actually occurring is just make their voices heard. And that's what is important, to spread the fucking message. Don't let this die out like all the other cases of black people getting killed by extreme police brutality. There are so many names. So just keep talking about it, like not letting it die out, and like keep it active in people's thoughts. Like
talking about it, do
and have a fucking
something.
plan.
But that's what we're talking about. People like we for example, we can't do much. What we can do, we can talk about it, we can donate, and we can go out and demonstrate, do stuff from here.
But that's fine. But
we're talking about the whole movement in general.
Fucking black square on Facebook and Instagram.
No, that doesn't help. Go out. If you fucking stand for it, go out and demonstrate. Yes, it's a fucking pandemic. But no one gave a shit about a fucking pandemic. Especially here in fucking Sweden. 3 weeks ago when the fucking sun came out, everyone was out fucking having their fucking drinks, going to the fucking beach, don't giving a shit. Like literally, I work in a fucking mall.
Yeah.
You know how many people were out in the fucking mall packed? No one gives a shit about the fucking pandemic, especially not in Sweden, because we didn't put restrictions. Yeah. No one cared about it. But now all of a sudden, all the fucking super extremist Swedes like, oh my god, but it's corona, don't go out. Oh, fucking fuck all these people, they're gonna spread corona now. Like, fuck you, bitch.
The best meme ever that I saw this morning was like, the Homer Simpson when he goes back in the hedge, that meme.
Yeah.
And it's like dressed up, he's like a Republican saying, don't take away my rights. I have the right to go outside when the government were telling them to stay home. And then now with all the riots going, he like goes back in the hedge and then comes out with like a USA #1 thing, like, listen to the government, stay home, and stop rioting. Like,
but that's what it is.
Because people pick and choose what they, and that I don't know, that annoys me more than anything when people pick and choose what they want to believe in, and when it suits them, like, oh, I'm a black rights advocate now because it's trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
No, you either are or you aren't.
Yeah, someone sent an image to me where it was two doctors or health medical people like, oh, we go to work for you, you stay at home for us. And underneath they had put like a picture of the central city in Stockholm when people were demonstrating. Basically telling me that, oh, you did wrong because you went out there, you don't care about the health system. And I was like, yeah, but I go to work because people want fucking ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, tell me fucking what.
Let's face it, you go to work because the government here is fucking just dumb. Like, plain straight up.
But she does bring up a fair point, is that, the unsung heroes are the ice cream makers of Sweden.
Of course, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But also, one thing that I also want to point out is, because this happened in this email thread I was talking about earlier, where people were basically, oh, I'm a better fucking white person than you. And then someone basically tried to make a comment basically around, like, if you're white, you can't make a comment. That's the opposite of equality, right? This whole thing is pushing for equal rights and to treat people equally. So that's like me saying you can't say shit because you're black.
Yeah.
No, like, anyone can say anything. Anyone should be free to give their perspective.
There's 2 points that I wanna hit on that. One, I saw that some black people and some white people are actually dumb enough to do this, are putting their foot on gazettes and papers and shit like that, and telling white people you should apologize and kiss my fucking boots. And white people are actually doing it. Like, that's how fucked up America is. I'm telling you right now, if any black man out there wants me to kiss his boot, that is not fucking happening. Because if I'm kissing your boot, then you're kissing mine to show the same respect as I'm giving you.
Yeah.
So it's simple as that.
Point, right?
It's about fucking equality. It's not about me saying, I'm sorry, I've never hit a black man in my life. I've never had like a fucking fuck. Actually, my most fucked up moment in my life that gave me a year and a half of fucking anxiety was because of a fucking white guy. Not because of a black guy. No, I'm not kidding. I had panic attacks. Have you ever had a panic attack?
No.
Like, literally, at one point in my life, I couldn't walk anymore.
Jesus.
Out of just sheer fear of my surroundings. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. If you want to fucking have an idea of what a genuine fucking panic attack is, imagine this. You're walking across the street and all of a sudden you stop. You just get this imminent sense of fear, like fucking fear crawling up in you. You can't move, you can't walk, and you just have to wait there until it passes away. And all this because of a white motherfucker. And I'm telling you right now, if any black guy walks up to me and asks me to kiss his boot, I ain't doing it unless he's kissing my boot as well.
But that's how it should be. And that's my point.
Yeah, but what I think.
So that's one thing I wanted to hit on.
Yeah.
The second thing I wanted to hit on is that I've seen a lot of fucking how do you call it? Wait, hold on. Give me a second here.
What about saying that you're better than other people? Because you think one way?
Now, it's something about equality as well that I wanted to hit on. It's gone. Just fucking let it go.
We only had one subject to report on. Now back to the regular show. When it comes down to the whole movement is called Black Lives Matter, and it doesn't mean that no one else matters in the sense that they're above us. But the problem is why they're voicing it and naming it like that is because in the US especially, they haven't had a voice. They haven't been heard.
Yeah, no, but I'm my issue isn't with the Black Lives Matter. I don't give a shit.
No, but
I'm not one of those people like all lives matter. I don't care. My problem is when you have these people that turn around, like in this thread I had to read, unfortunately, because it was just fucking garbage. literally someone basically saying, because you are white, you cannot say anything. Like that
But was that a
makes
white
no
person?
fucking
But
sense.
who said that?
A lady of color, shall we say?
Yeah.
And was actually yelling down at a guy who was Islamic and had sent links to groups for someone else in the email thread to help people of color with photography, I think it was. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, rather than taking photos of people, why don't you go to an underprivileged like area and help them actually learn how to use cameras and take their own photographs and give them access to this technology that they can't afford. And then she was yelling down at him like, oh, but you're not a black person or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then some white chick said something. She says, oh, you're white, you can't say anything. Then some guy, because he was a man, she said, you're a man, you have male privilege, you can't say anything. I'm like, that's not equality then. You just, like, what the fuck are you fighting for?
Look, that is an episode I once, like several times, I had planned the male and female privilege shit. I'm not gonna do it. I'm genuinely not gonna fucking hit on that. Don't.
Like, actually, I have one last thing as well. My school did a thing on Friday about like look in a reflection about if you've been racist or have you seen it? Did you do anything? Why didn't you? I was like, fair enough. Some guy, apparently, I wasn't there, but my friend was, and I spoke to him yesterday. This guy's a black Haitian guy, by the way, who grew up in Canada, and he himself had been racially vilified by police, but he doesn't care, thinks this is dumb. But anyway, right, he told me that this guy got up, a white Swedish guy, and started crying and apologizing just because he was white. It's sad that it gets to this point, but this is, don't make people feel like shit just because of how they're born. That's the whole thing. We don't want people of color to feel bad because that's what they are.
You're standing up against racism and blah, blah, blah. Then don't make somebody feel bad for being white. He doesn't choose to be white, just as less as you chose to be fucking black. Nobody chooses their fucking color, you dumbass.
Exactly. Yeah,
and that's the thing. I suddenly remembered what I did want to say just a moment before. What you were hitting on, Ali, is with the Black Lives Matter thing. Look, if people say Black Lives Matter, they don't mean... I don't feel like it should be said like, fucking all lives matter. Yeah,
Shouldn't
I
be
agree.
said.
All lives matter. They do. But white people aren't in fucking shit right now.
Yeah.
We're doing fucking fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one of boys, obviously, as a daughter of immigrants, as a South American person, white, at the end of the day, what it comes down to, white people will never understand what it is to experience racism.
No.
Wrong. Depends. In a European country, no. Go to Asia and tell me that a white person will not experience racism. Yes, they are some of the most racist people. I've been to Indonesia.
We're not talking about going on a fucking holiday and you getting racially profiled. We're talking about the country you grew up in.
But the comment about you've never experienced, that's not entirely true.
We're talking about your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's not about a holiday. It's not about a thing where you visit the country once and a Chinese guy walks up to you and says like, oh, hey, you white people all look the same. You're going to tell him, well, motherfucker, all you Chinese people look the same as well. But the thing is, I don't think you need to understand this shit, like the racial profiling thing. You just need to know that it's there. No matter how it is, or how it's perceived and shit like that, is, in my point of perspective, is irrelevant. It just shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be talked.
And it's always... You've been...
But that's why I'm saying that the Black Lives Matters movement should organize themselves and act accordingly. They don't need to fucking run up to Joe run-of-the-mill and attack that guy. He didn't choose your color for you, and he didn't choose his own color for him. He was given white skin and you were given black skin. You know what? Fucking, if you leave him out in the sun for a couple of days, he'll probably be a black brother as well. So
fucking boiling lobster. That's what it'll be.
It is fucking true. I mean, his scholar. Look. Yeah. We're all fucking red on the inside, okay?
Yes.
There's no difference. But you need to attack the people that had hurt you.
Yeah, not
I've never
everybody.
hurt a black guy. I've never hurt a Hispanic guy. I've never done anything wrong to a fucking guy or girl of color. As a matter of fact, I had a black guy's dick in my mouth. I think you can't be any fucking kinder to a black person than that. I mean,
Fair.
at the end of the day, it's not about fucking. It's not about color. It's about the fucking government. Because let's face it, before the Spanish Inquisition, there was no racism. It's all it all goes back to fucking religion and profiling people for their religion, and then it turned into some fucking nitwit idea where the people started believing their governments because the governments were the most powerful thing. You know what? It's at a turning point. We don't believe the government has power anymore, and we should treat them as such. But we let them run over us.
Yeah, but it's also systematic fucking racism in general that people get taught, because racism you get taught.
Yeah, but change the government, you'll change the people's perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, but you also can't fight.
The source of the problem is their fucking government. It's the people that lead you. Like I said, if 75% to 65 to 75% of Belgium tells you, let's help these people that are here right now. Let's just wait to bring in more people. But your government tells you, oh no, we're getting paid for this, so let's bring them all in. Then the problem is the government. Because the people are trying to help, but the government is telling them not to. It's the same like in America. Who do you think trains these motherfuckers to sit on somebody for 9 minutes? It's what the government allows. It's not about the people. It's about the fucking government. Who decides who should be a cop in America? Not are these guys even profiled? Because here in Belgium, if you tell only one person before you become a police officer, oh, you know, Hitler was a pretty fun guy. You know what's going to happen? Just by saying something like that in your training, you get the Committee P, which is basically a committee that comes to your house, has the right to search every fucking drawer you own to find any sort of suggestion that you might be racist. And if you are found racist by Committee P, bam, out of a job. You cannot be a police officer. Period. That's where it ends.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time,
and that's how it fucking should be. It should be governed by the right people.
Yeah, but you also can't fight systemic racism by being racist yourself and saying just because you're white or you're Hispanic or whatever, or you're black, you can't say something.
No,
Like, that also doesn't work. Like, the second, if people stop looking at color or sexuality or gender or any of that shit, you know what? The world would be a hell of a lot easier. If we stop putting a label like, oh, I'm black, you're white, or you're a cis white male, so you just naturally, you must be rich, of course, because you're a cis white male. You have to be rich.
Yeah.
You have to be, but if you're black, you must be poor, or if you're Asian, you must work in a sweatshop for Nike. You know, like, if we stop doing this shit, we wouldn't have this fucking problem to begin with. But the problem is people, and even in the same argument for anti-racism, they still throw around these fucking tags.
Yeah, no.
Just stop.
We need to stop, we need to just teach our children. Like, I don't know, we just need somewhere we just need to set the fucking reset button.
No, we need to kill all the boomers, because they are the source of most of this racism.
No, but they've already spread the seed onto our generation. There's so many people.
Yeah, that's the fucked up thing. There is, like, in all honesty, there is no reset button. It doesn't exist.
No, I know.
No, you'll never get rid of racism.
You know what would be the ultimate reset button? And, like, I'm thinking, there's probably a cop fan outside my door right now for me saying this.
Dropping a nuke.
It's not dropping a nuke, but it's overthrowing your government. Because basically, every country in the world is being governed the wrong way. Because right now, what's happening in every country and all the entire fucking world is that people are afraid of their government. Because there's talk of nuclear war, there's talk of wars, there's talk of this, there's talk of that. You know what? That's the wrong way to look at it. A very smart man once said there's only one good government, and that's a government where the government is scared of the people and not the other way around.
Mm.
And it's true. The government should be scared of their people. And I hope now, for America at least, that they finally wake up a little bit and at least do something, at least help impoverished people, you know, at the very least to stop the racial profiling. I saw a very beautiful video today. Unfortunately, I had to see that because it was just as fucked up as what George Floyd, a man freaking out in his car, yelling at a police officer for having his gun drawn before he got to the car and saying, like, I have 2 kids. Don't you want to go home to your 2 kids tonight? Because that's what I want. Doesn't matter what color I have. I want to go home to my 2 kids. And it's just that. There's nothing more to it. They're human fucking beings. They shouldn't be treated as anything other than you would treat fucking Joe fucking Whitey or fucking Joe fucking coffee with fucking creamy. You know, I don't give a shit. It's all the fucking same. You shouldn't fucking pull your gun on anybody in any fucking situation. And if you feel the need to pull your gun every time you stop a black person or a person of color, then stop being a fucking cop. You have no fucking right to racially profile any individual and pull a gun before you know he's a threat. And if you're a little scaredy cat and you say, oh, I'm fucking scared of my fucking life here, so I feel the need to draw my gun every time I pull somebody over, you know what? Then don't be a fucking cop, because danger is part of your profession that you chose. It is your choice to carry that weapon that can end somebody's life. It is your fucking choice to do that. So if you're gonna be scared and pulling your gun for the fucking biggest, smallest fart that somebody's gonna make, then fucking stay home. Choose a different profession and go work in a factory like I do. Yeah. Because that's your fucking place. Your place is not holding a fucking firearm. Yeah. You dipshit.
But that's the problem in the US as well. Like, it comes down to the fucking gun laws. I'm just going to pull up his name quickly, sorry. Trayvon Martis.
Yeah.
A 17-year-old kid that was shot in 2012 in Florida. No.
Oh, by that cop.
No, he wasn't a cop. He wasn't
the
a
security
fucking
guard.
No, he wasn't a security guard. He was a self-proclaimed
neighborhood
watch.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Killed a 17-year-old black boy coming home from 7-Eleven from getting Skittles and iced tea.
Yeah, that was a
and
big
he
thing.
shot him dead because he looked suspicious.
Yeah, but look, this is a country that a kid goes to school and literally actually fears being killed. Like,
Yeah,
they can't even stop a school shooting, so they're never going to fix racism. I'll tell you that right now. If you can't work out something that basic, then just
I don't know.
give up.
The problem is so big.
I've just given up
it's-
on the US, to be honest. I just, like, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves.
Mm.
They're their own worst enemy in that country.
They do have the right idea at the end of the day. The idea of freedom. We talked about this.
But they're not free, man. They have military-grade weapons for the police force. That's not freedom.
But that's why I'm calling it an idea and not a fact.
Yeah, because I mean, freedom for me is going to school and not being shot.
It is just that. It's an idea. It's an ideology. It's a dream they want to create, but they're not getting there because of certain fact. I believe one of the fucking biggest problems America has to date is capitalism. Everything needs to be money.
They're ultra capitalists. That's the worst. I'm a believer in capitalism, but when you go ultra capitalist, where even your government, like when they run for an election, is literally funded by private entities and corporations, like that's not democracy. Are you fucking idiot?
If you're gonna let your country be led by a guy who had to file for bankruptcies 4 times, you're basically not making smart decisions as far as like your leaders go as well. So like,
and look at all of their leaders; they're all being rich dudes, right? Like even Obama was a very wealthy man before he even got into power. Everyone, you have to have the wealth. You have to toe the party line. You have to get the kickbacks from the mining corporations, the oil companies, the big manufacturing companies, and so that's their problem. It's the same in Australia. It's becoming like that as well. But
look, let's just agree that under any circumstances there shouldn't be police officers drawing their firearms or even restricting people to that point.
No, your whole point is to keep people safe, not to shoot them or choke them out to the point that they die. Unless they are a literal threat to you, unless they are shooting at you or trying to stab you.
And nobody besides politicians should apologize to anybody.
No, exactly.
If you haven't been a dick, if you haven't been brutally racist or violent to people of color just because of their color, then, you know...
When its actions speak louder than words, if everyone just got on and just didn't pay attention to color and stuff, well, the culture changes.
I think that will ever happen. That won't ever fucking happen.
We'll never get rid of racism completely.
I mean,
it's inbuilt in human nature. I'm a big believer.
I think the hates towards color. I mean, can you look? I'm gonna say that my opinion of color is it should still be fucking funny for everybody. I love to hear a black guy tell white jokes. The way we drive cars and eat way too much mayonnaise and shit like that is fucking hilarious. It's funny to me. Like I've generally found. Have you heard Richard Pryor, like in his old tape, talk about white folk?
Nope.
Man, you should, dude.
But the thing for that,
trust me.
I think it's anything like for me with comedy. I think you've probably worked out, and I have a dark side of comedy, but context is key.
Yeah,
it's the context of what you do and say.
But here's the thing. So I believe that we shouldn't forget about color, because you can't, unless everybody's colorblind. Even then, you're gonna see somebody as darker than another person. But I think at the end of the day, what we need to do is just stop hating because of color. You can't just ignore color. Colors is gonna be there. Period.
Yeah, do you know why you should hate someone?
What you need to stop doing is when you see a black guy cross the road and he's coming towards you, maybe he's going to that shop behind you and he's not coming for your fucking purse, Karen.
Yeah, exactly. Don't clutch. But do you know when you can hate someone? When they're a cunt. Irrespective of the color of their skin, their upbringing, what gender they are, what they do with their genitalia, what their sexual orientation.
Wasn't it in the movie The Gentleman that there was this great scene with Colin Farrell as a boxer trainer, where this Irish guy said, "Get in the ring and start fighting, you black cunt." And this black guy said to Colin Farrell, "Why the fuck is he being racist?" And Colin Farrell said, "Well, he's not being racist. He's calling you out for being a cunt, and you are, by chance, black. So he's not lying when he says that you are a black cunt, because you are being a cunt."
Yeah,
and so
it's that simple.
I truly believe that, and it's like, at first I was like, oh, well, that's a fucking harsh line too. But when he said it like that, I was like, oh, well, actually, he's right. There's, it's just a matter of circumstance.
Yeah, let's put it this way, right? Like,
could have been a white cunt.
I'll put it this way. I hate Caitlyn Jenner. Not because she's trans. Because when Caitlyn Jenner was Bruce Jenner, she literally fucking killed someone and didn't even go to jail. She literally ran someone over with a car. She's a piece of trash. She killed someone. And then all of a sudden she ends up woman of the world. She's literally a fucking murderer in my eyes.
Understandable.
She should be in jail.
Understandable.
So I hate that. I think she's a garbage human being. And the fact that people idolize her is a joke. I don't hate her because she's trans. I hate her because of an action she actually did where she took someone else's life in a fucking car and happened to be rich and have a really good lawyer, surprise, surprise, and got off. Yeah. If I did that, I'd be in fucking jail.
So basically, you know what? Let's hate the cunts, and let's not hate the cunts because they got color. Exactly. Hate them because they're cunts.
Of their actions, not what they look like or what they do with their body or whatever. Hate them because, I don't know, they're the fucking coworker at lunch that keeps eating your fucking lunch every day.
Oh yeah.
Then hate them.
I mean,
or they banging your wife or you're out at work or something, then sure, then hate them. Not just because you took one look at them or you heard that they do something, or they're gay, or, no.
Yeah. No, well.
What's wrong, Ali? You look like you have some stuff to say.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. It's fine. All right, well, I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to have an open conversation. I guess this is a good name for this episode as well. An open conversation about George Floyd.
Yeah.
Or
and
whatever.
If it actually pisses you off, I would just say, but do something about it. Don't just talk about it. Actually, do something with your actions that can change something. By
the way, you can find us at @random.podcast, so that's at.random.podcast on Instagram. If any of you motherfuckers decides to give us a rant about this, I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm genuinely, if we're in the power of social media, we're gonna delete any fucking dumbass comments you have to say about this. This is our perspective. If you don't agree with this, then fuck off. Just don't listen to the show anymore. That means that we have different perspectives on things. I don't want to hear your American bullshit of your gun laws and how you feel that you should be able to carry an open arm. My perspective is you really don't need it. Leave it to the people that actually are capable to protect you. And while you're at it, make the people that protect you feel a little more safer, maybe.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pull their gun every fucking 2 seconds.
And hold them accountable when they do fuck up.
And hold them accountable when they do. And fucking investigate that shit. Because, you Americans, you always talk about power to the people. Well, show your fucking power then.
And that's not destroying a random dude's comic book store or corner shop.
All I've seen so far is power from a lot of fucking strong individuals and black people and shit. And weakness from a lot of fucking individuals. One of the videos that struck me the most this week, I'm not even going to talk about last week, was in New York City. There were protests and the police was shooting gas canisters at protesters, which, disperse, just run away and go home. When they start doing that. Wash your eyes out. Try to get some fresh air when it happens, because staying in that gas for too long will fucking definitely have devastating results. But the police officer in question who shot the gas canisters ran up to the crowd that was running away and said, "Run, N-word, run." So,
Jesus,
whoever that was, I hope you're a listener, and I hope you quit your job as soon as fucking possible, because you deserve to be scooping shit after a train. For all I care.
Much.
Yeah. And even that job would be too good for you in my perspective. So anybody who has a different perspective than that of ours, I hope you turn your back away to us and you don't come back, because our opinions, I feel very strongly about what's been said here today. I'm sorry to the people that were hoping to get an actual episode, but I genuinely believe that we've done right to talk about this and to, as friends, because we're friends in real life, me, Alex, and Ali, to talk about it. Because, sometimes it can't always be fucking giggles and shits and fun stuff. I mean, we'll be back next week with fun stuff and stuff like that. But for this week, yeah. On one fucking, what's it called?
Positive note.
On one positive note, I do have a goodest boy of the week.
No, it's back after a thing like 2 week hiatus.
Oh, I didn't remember. Know. Well, the goodest boy of the week is the guy in the Guy Fawkes fucking riot gear. You seen that guy?
Nope.
Nah, he's this guy.
Cool.
There's like this 7 foot tall individual running around on these riots with a Guy Fawkes. He's probably from Anonymous. And by the way, Anonymous has done so fucking good with these riots. They've been disturbing like police. I've been hearing reports from like police where the earpieces they were in, that they're disturbing that with music and shit like that, with dumb music.
Yep.
So they can't communicate to one another and shit like that. So the people actually have a chance to get out if they can and shit like that. So, thank you, Anonymous, for for at least supporting the right cause once again for the so manyth time. But yeah, the goodest boy of the week is definitely the 7 foot tall fucking handsome individual with the Guy Fawkes symbol on his fucking riot gear and like fire brigade. He's probably hot as fuck. Yeah, we're probably never gonna know who he is since he's anonymous, but like still, thank you to that Big Daddy. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I guess we'll take our leaves and say goodbye. Is there anybody else that needs to say anything?
I was just going to say
anything.
Find us on Twitter at @AT_randompod. And same shit with the Instagram. If you want to argue about gun politics or blah, 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 like, don't bother. I'm not going to bother arguing with you. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're just wrong. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I'm done.
Good.
You have nothing to say. Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. For the people that stuck around and share our opinions, and just keep that fist in the air for the moment being, and just never stop trying.
And stay safe.
Yeah. Find out about tear gas and shit like that.
That's
what they're
also one
using
thing I
so
want to
you
bring
can
up quickly, actually, when we're actually mentioning it. If you are going out and protesting in the US, as a woman, don't wear makeup, because that shit, because the pepper spray and the canisters that they throw at you, it's not actually gas. It's a fine powder, and it sticks to you, and the oils in the makeup, it will cling to it, and your body will absorb it quicker, which will make it more painful. Don't wear contact lenses, because that powder dissolves them and you can actually lose your eyesight. Be very careful. Protect your eyes. Wear a mask. Try to stay as safe as possible.
And avoid the rioters, because they're just a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, if you see rioting, just try to stop it as quickly as possible.
Or just run away.
Know that all of us here in Europe, or like I'm saying, like, most of us here over in Europe, we're definitely supporting your cause. Just keep it going. You guys just deserve as much as anybody else, because like I said, we're all red on the inside, and God knows I've cut off open to know that.
And on that rather morbid and curious note, be back next week, I guess.
All right.
Unless he gets arrested.
Talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.